Hi, and thanks for watching. In this video, I wanted to spend some time looking at Bagua hand techniques, or one hand technique in particular, the covering palm. But as you may already know, Bagua is quite distinct as a martial art in that it uses a lot of open palm strikes, from ramming palm to the spearing palm to this covering palm. And so understanding these different palm strikes is quite important. In fact, part of the training is these looking at these techniques in a separate drill. So just doing the technique by itself as part of the traditional training. So as I mentioned before, what we're going to focus on is the covering palm in this video, the Gai Zhang. And so this is a downward strike using the base of the palm. What we'll look at is a simple side-to-side stepping drill for this technique. And we'll look at some of the requirements for the technique itself and also some of the applications. So the technique, doing a side-to-side step, is simply opening out, reaching out with one arm, opening, grab, step in, and applying the Gai Zhang, the covering palm. Stepping to the other side, open the arms, close, step in, and cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The second hand, the secondary hand, often typically closed palm or closed as a fist and positioned just by the inside of the other elbow, the opposite elbow. And so we have this kind of position. The arm is rounded with the one that's applying the technique. And again, as I mentioned before, it is this downward strike using the base of the palm. Main requirements, now keep in mind, different styles of Bagua are going to have some variation, especially with the hand position. Also maybe a little bit of differences in terms of the power generation, though I think for this technique it's going to be quite fairly uniform. The requirements, first one of course, is to have this rounded position of the arm, right? Open striking with the base of the palm. Second requirement is that the shoulder stays down, connected firmly to the shoulder girdle and the torso. And the third requirement is that the body stays relatively upright. With this position of the hand rounded, the efficiency for generating force by simply doing a rotation of the upper arm is not so good, right? Simply using the shoulder joint and trying to apply pressure this way, especially because of the leverage, also quite difficult. Instead of these things, what we're using is this closing technique, using the connected power, full body power, or integrated power of the whole body, the positioning of the body, the rotation of the body to provide the power generation for this strike. So the three requirements is that the arm is rounded, the shoulder is set down, and the body remains quite upright. In terms of the application of this move, it can simply be a defensive move, deflecting or pressing something out of the way, the guard, moving that out of the way so that there's an opportunity to come through. It can be something where grabbing a limb is controlling the arm as a joint lock, pressing against the joint. It can be a dislocation technique. And of course, applied to the upper back and back of the head, it can be a strike to these areas. And so the downward pressure or the downward direction of the strike doesn't eliminate the possibility of something which strikes the torso, back of the head, upper back and the shoulder. Right? Especially if you can get the person off balance, and then the strike becomes useful for these situations. The stepping, there's a wide variety of stepping that can be done. Because I have a fixed camera, easiest and quite useful is to do the simple strike to one side and then strike to the other, left and right, covering palm. As a general feature for the practice, rather than trying to do it as fast as you can, I think it's much more useful to be practicing it at a moderate speed with a smooth application of power, trying to find the coordination from this open and close, open and close. Finding the way to smoothly apply this integrated or full body power is the most useful way to hone this technique. From this stepping from one side to the other, there's lots of other variations that can be done for stepping techniques, such as striking in three directions. So T-step, so going from the top of the T from one side to the other to the bottom of the T, the base of the T. So from one side, top of the T, to the other side of the T, and then opening step, close, to the base of the strike, base of the T, and back. So essentially applying the Gai Zhang in three directions, to the one side, to the other, behind, and back. You can also apply a footwork using zigzag stepping if you have a space and you want to practice across a practice space or practice hall. With this, bringing the feet, stepping to the angle, bringing the secondary step in close by, bringing the feet into a narrow stance, and then stepping to the next angle is another way to practice this. And of course, the outside triangle stepping is one, which gets us closer again to some of the changes practice and the spiraling look of some of the other parts of Bagua training. The main thing to keep in mind when we're doing these things is that the purpose of varying the footwork is mainly to be able to get used to this change in direction, this change of angle, but keeping the hand technique, the actual Gai Zhang, the covering palm, to be the same, regardless of the direction that we are moving to. So a useful thing to keep in mind is to have a variation with the footwork and a consistency with the actual hand technique. So I hope this information is helpful for you. Keep training, keep practicing, and take care.